If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, well, I'd buy your house. If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million.
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
Buy you some art, a Picasso or a Garfunkel. If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, well, I'd buy you a monkey. Haven't you always wanted a monkey? If I had $1 million, I'd buy you.
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
I'd be rich.
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, well, I'd buy you a house. I would buy you a house. And if I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, buy you furniture for your house, maybe a nice Chesterfield or an ottoman. And if I had $1 million, if I had $1 million,
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
you a K car, a nice reliant automobile. And if If I had $1,000,000, I'd buy your love. If I had $1,000,000, I'd build a tree fort in our yard. If I had $1,000,000, you could help, it wouldn't be that hard. If I had $1,000,000, maybe we could put like a little tiny fridge in there somewhere.
You know, we could just go up there and hang out.
Like open the fridge and stuff, and there will be foods laid out for us with little pre-wrapped sausages.
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
Pre-wrapped bacon.
Well, can you blame them?
Yeah.
If I had $1,000,000, if I had $1,000,000, well, I'd buy you a fur coat, but not a real fur coat, that's cruel. And if I had $1,000,000, if I had $1,000,000, well, I'd buy you an exotic pet, yep, like a llama or an emu. And if I had $1,000,000, if I had $1,000,000, well, I'd buy you John Merrick's remains, ooh, all them crazy elephant bones. And if I had $1,000,000,
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
If I had $1,000,000, we wouldn't have to walk to the store. If I had $1,000,000, now we'd take a limousine 'cause it costs more. If I had $1,000,000, we wouldn't have to eat Kraft dinner.
But we would eat Kraft dinner
Of course we would. We just eat more.
and buy really expensive ketchups with it.
That's right. All the fanciest Dijon ketchup.
If I had $1,000,000,
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
well, I'd buy you a green dress, but not a real green dress, that's cruel.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brad Williams. I'm here with my partner, Dan Merkin. It is our Wednesday Q&A session. I'm going to attempt to do something I haven't done here for some time. I'm going to go try to do a poll here while I'm sharing my screen, and hopefully this will work. This lets us know exactly who we're presenting to today, and it lets us kind of shape our presentation to that audience. So the first question I'm going to ask you guys is, do you have an active subscription to Trade Ideas? So there should be a poll on your screen right there. Go ahead and answer that. When I get enough people, about 60% or so answering, I'll go ahead and share that out with everybody.
The webinar will begin
All right, looks
shortly.
like we've got about
Please remain on the
70%
line.
do not have an active subscription, 30% do. Excellent.
Excellent, Brad.
Excellent. I don't really know how to work this interface. So let me go to the next question here. The next question for those 25% that do have an active, I don't really know how to work this interface. So let me go to the next question here. Premium subscribers, that is, do you have access? The next question for those 25% that do have an active, I don't really know how to work this interface. So let me go to the next question. Let me know that. We're also going to have a coupon code. That's the next question for those 25% that do have an active, I don't really know how to work this interface. Sign up for if you want to. Let me know that. We're also going to have a coupon code. That's the next question for those 25% that do have an
We'll
active.
talk about all the reasons why a lot of people do that, but again, that's not the focus of the presentation.
All right, well, it looks like it's about 50-50 right now. So it's a good start. Let me go ahead and close the poll. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Not sharing it, big fella.
Start the recording, but I don't know. I don't see it here. So I'm just going to go ahead and
Quick share and screen, and then you should be able to do it. There we go. We see you. Hey, Brad, why don't you let me do the old disclaimer since I can't help you as much.
go get him, Tiger.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, you are at our Q&A Wednesday webinar. Your presenters are Brad Williams, Dan Merkin, myself, two of the handsomest members of the Trade Ideas team, longest standing, battle-ridden, battle-tested, and we're here to give you an entertaining hour to 45 minutes. But before we start, we must tell you that all the information you're going to hear from myself, Brad, or anybody from the Traderz team should never be construed as investment advice. We are not registered investment advisors. Please seek investment advice tailored to your specific account from a registered broker or a registered investment advisor. Brad, let's rock and/or roll.
That was very nicely done.
And before Brad is tortured because of my internet connection, I will add that here you guys are listening to a Patriot company founded in 2003 by the core team that has been there the whole time. We have no venture capital. We've never raised money, and instead we've made a business so good that we're going to be on the Inc. 5000 5 years in a row, something that virtually nobody has ever done.
And that's anticipating next year's selection, right?
Very, very proud business here. Our developers are in the United States. Just so you guys know, we don't outsource anything, and we keep it that way. And our focus is on the pattern of winning, helping you see things that you otherwise might not have seen. And as Pepe here shows you, sometimes, Brad, you know, we have to take a deep, deep look to see where the real profit opportunities lie.
That's very true. And that's what our software does. It allows you to take a deep, deep look at all the different stocks that are moving around in the market and help you find the ones that are going to make you the most profitable. Let's go ahead and just kill the presentation and get right into the software, because I really do want to show you some of the things that we've been working on. I'll kind of treat this as a high level presentation, but like I said, I want to show you some of the latest innovations that we have and what we're going to be coming to market with very, very shortly. So we're looking at my desktop. This just happens to be my custom layout. We do provide a channel bar on the left-hand side that lets you get started right away without having to set up your own desktop. Like, let me give you a for instance here. We'll just go to the pre-market channel, just select the graphic that you want over on the channel bar, and it loads up a predefined set of windows. Let me go ahead and clean my desktop up a little bit here. So it gives you a predefined set of windows where you can have charts and you can have alerting windows, you can have top list windows. The pre-market channel is a great place to get started in the morning because we're presenting a list of ideas, a list of stocks that are gapping up, gapping down. Those are based on our two top lists that we have right here. We're showing you about 6 or 7 items in each one, but you know, it's full of them. You can, I think there are 100 in each one. So you can see all the stocks that have the biggest percentage gap up, percentage gap down. And then I've got this little window, and don't let the size confuse you. This little window right here for the pre-market movers has a variety of different strategies in it. Looking at pre-market, things that are moving on volume, things that are running up. So looking at that window gives you an idea of what happens to be moving in the pre-market as well. And while I'm on this particular channel, the charts that you see up at the top, we've got some additional annotations that we place on it. I'll talk about that a little bit later. And we've got our single stock window, a great place to do a deep dive into a single stock and get a lot of information out of it. This first tab right here, the detail tab, gives you all of the filtered data that we have at Trade Ideas pertaining to a particular stock. And I mean, there are hundreds of them you can put on here, fully customizable, and this is what we're presenting out of the box in this particular channel. I've got a news tab, so if you want to, you know, click on a stock and take a look and see if there's any pertinent news for that stock, you can do that and click on a story. It'll spawn a web page, and you can learn a little bit more about that. The profile, I use this one all the time because it gives me that deep dive into what that company does, where they're located, what kind of business they operate. It also lets me know the sector, the subsector, industry, and sub-industry group that they're in. Insiders lets me know what the insiders of that company are doing. Are they accumulating stock? Are they distributing, getting rid of stock? So it gives me a visual on that through the pie, and then I can get some of the details of that from some of the insiders. But what I really like is the similar tab. The similar tab lets us find stocks that are similar in nature from the industry group that they operate in. And we do let you toggle between competitors and price action, where we try to take a look at how that stock is performing not only today, but on a longer time frame as well, and try to find stocks really performing in a similar nature. So that's the pre-market, but you know, you're not limited to something like that. You can just scroll down and take a look at all of the different channels that we've built for you. Alpha Predator happens to be one of my favorite. This momentum channel is really nice as well. And as I pull that up, you can see the different windows that are presented in that particular workspace. I've got this multi-strategy window that I'll talk about really briefly, because I think this is probably one of our most powerful types of weapons in the software. It really allows you to efficiently use your screen real estate, taking up a really small window, but giving you all kinds of information. For instance, in this particular window, if I just right click and go over strategies, I've got 5 different alert strategies that I'm waiting for all the criteria to satisfy before it populates. But when that happens, it's going to go ahead and populate right at the top of the window. The stock's going to come in. I can go ahead and click on it, take that visual look at it on my chart. And if I'm connected to one of our integrated brokerage partners, right now it's Interactive Brokers, but I'll talk a little bit about what we've got coming online here very, very shortly. You can go ahead and send that directly out to the market. We do also offer a simulated mode that allows you to hypothesize and keep track of your portfolio in real time, just like you had a brokerage account. So you could, I'll show you that as well when I bring the Brokerage Plus interface up. Different windows here. This top list is giving me a ranked list of stocks based on the criteria that I'm looking for. This happens to be looking for low float winners, and you can sort this on any of the visible columns that we have right here. Right now we're sorting it on change from the close, so the guys that have the biggest percent move for the day are all populating right here in chronological order. But then I could say, you know, what's changed the most over the last 2 minutes? And now we're after hours, so it's not quite as exciting, but you really do get that real-time feel of how things are moving and what's really grabbing the momentum right now. This window right here at the bottom is my price alert window, probably the most used window that I have. This allows me to set up thresholds, visible thresholds on the chart. For instance, right here, if I want to put a threshold at, say, 1530-ish, I'm going to right-click at that price point, create a price alert. And I'll go ahead and save that. I could put a note in here if I'd like, but it's going to give me that little line right here with a pin. And no matter what I'm looking at, no matter what channel I'm on, what I'm doing, if Trade Ideas is open and this particular stock crosses that threshold, it's going to go ahead and give me an audible notification. It's going to pop up in this window right here. And if I'm looking at something else, I'm just going to go right into it and see exactly what happened. And this is an example right here of something that triggered a downside move. So I had this a long type of signal here and a short type of signal below it, and it broke through the downside on that. And that's how it can give you that real-time feedback. In this particular stock right here, as I'm drawn to the single stock window, this red field here catches my eye, letting me know that the earnings date for this stock is going to be happening tomorrow after the market. So a lot of information packed into the software here. And while we're presenting you these out-of-the-box workspaces right here, everything in the software is configurable, not only from the size and look of it, but from the contents of these particular windows. What are you looking for? Let's just say on a simple basis, you want to look for stocks between $1 and $10. Well, that's all you really need to do is go into this interface right here and change the filter to give you that desired look that you're looking for.
Brad.
Yes, sir.
There was a question. I thought since you've got the Extreme Master Blaster window up and also Momo window with the position and range indicator, somebody was asking if you could change that setting from a graphic to a numerical.
Yeah, and the position and range indicator.
Yeah.
Because these right here, and we have them in all different time frames. The position and lifetime, as you see down here, this is the position in year. I've got them in the day, in the 15 minutes, so all different time frames. If I right-click inside of that column right here and I go to properties, I've got this graphical indicator, which is going to go ahead and change this bar type of graphic into a number. And that number is there because we treat these as filters as well. Not only is it a visual indicator and letting you know where that stock is, but if I wanted to go into this particular strategy right here, extreme volume greater than $10, and if I go into that strategy, and go into configure, and we're going to search for the position in year range. That right there is a filter as well. So right now, let me move it over here. I'm going to add the filter, and you can see that I'm just displaying the column. I'm not really mandating that it does anything, but if I put in something like it has to be over 90, well, then I'm never going to see anything for this particular strategy that's under below the top 10% of that year range. I hope that explains it a little bit. But if you go into the search right here and you type in position in range, you're going to see all the different position in range filters and data display points that we have. That position in range, it was our first one, so we didn't really have position in day range, but this is your day range right here, intraday, and then some longer term.
And I think, Brad, one of the cool things that when I see you do this, I always talk about how we just created this language really, and it's not, the concept isn't that different from the old school TradeStation easy language, but it's all in minimums and maximums so that people don't have to write complicated formulas, that the words are already in there for you, like position in 2-year range. That's the real heart of the math, where you're comparing every print to where, you know, the print should be and what that print is, and but that's already done for you. And being able to min and max it out gives virtually every beginner the ability to simply create very high level, powerful mathematical formulas that are going out and searching the market in real time.
Yeah, let me pop into another channel here. So let's go to the social media channel, because we do something a little bit unique here. We're connecting to StockTwits. It's a financial Twitter, if you will, and it's a community of people that are trading stocks, and we're keeping track in real time of that communication flow for every single stock. So we know, you know, that the amount of mentions that a particular stock has all the time, and when something starts to get mentioned a lot, then we take notice of that, and we have that in a data point. We call that StockTwits relative activity. And all of these particular stocks right here, you can see this relative activity is extremely high. That means that they're being talked about 1,000 times its normal pace, or 3,000 times its normal pace. And what we do find oftentimes is that social mention does correlate in a nice way to the amount of volume that's happening in that stock. And just like the social activity looking for abnormal behavior, if I go to, scroll down a little bit more here to the volume channel, we really do the same thing with volume on all different time frames. We keep what's called statistical benchmarks and baselines for every stock on every time frame. We do it for price action, but we really do it for volume in a great way. And we dice that volume down into 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, cumulative for the day, average for 30 days. And having all of that data allows us to find these anomalies where stocks are really trading inordinate amount of volume. Volume, like this guy right here. I mean, you look at something like this, and you look at this filter that we have, relative volume. That relative volume is kicking at 53 right now. That's 53 times its normal volume. This is one that our momentum scanner found in real time today. I think when I was looking at it, it was about $14 that it kicked off right here. It found it earlier, no question, but I was watching it after some consolidation, and it just busted out right here. And well, it's right here. It's in this high of day momentum scanner. So if I was to go to the Momo channel, then you'd have something like this right here. And at 12:10, you know, if you click on it, it'll show you that arrow, which is the candle that alerted us to that particular movement. But it's just finding incredible 5-minute volume, incredible StockTwits relative volume. And we know that the relative volume on that stock is super high. In fact, it started out at 38 right there, but by the time it finished the day, it was at 53. And, you know, even late in the day, even after an incredibly, you know, big move, it was up pretty significant at that point. You know, it still had some room to go. And that's a couple points in a very, very short period of time. But that's what the software is really meant to be able to do, is to find these stocks that are just starting to move, if that's what you want to capitalize on. But it does so much more. I mean, that's just the momentum type of strategy. You could really have this thing set up and configured in any number of ways. Talk a little bit about the AI. So not only do we have these channels that are giving you these windows where you need to interpret what you want to do at these stocks, we're also giving you some trading advice, complete with some instructions. I'll go to this Omni AI channel, which is really a compilation of all 3 of the different AIs. So if it trades, if we had a trade coming out of Holly AI, it would appear in this one. 2.0 would appear in this one. Neo would appear in this one. So let's take a look at what we're looking at. So let's sort this here by entry time. So this was the very first call of the day, and it went all the way up to 10:50. I'm on the West Coast, so we did start at 6:30. So 5 minutes after the open, we had our first couple signals. A minute later, we had a couple more. And let's highlight one of them right here. It's kind of an up and down day. You know, I've got this thing set up right here. If I was to trade this, all of these particular signals right here and risk $100 per trade, and that's based on, you know, where that stop loss is, wherever that stop loss is, I'm going to share size myself accordingly so that if I get stopped out, I'm only going to lose $100. Well, this was the net of it. It was just under 900 for the day. It was a lot better at one point, but you know, the day did kind of move around. So it did get up to just under 2,000 right here before it came back. There are different ways that you could size this. You could do it, say I want to trade $5,000 every trade, and then it would size you according to that. Or you could say I want to trade 100 shares for every trade, and it'll go ahead and keep that profitability according to that configuration that you set up. The thing that I wanted to point out today was really the re-entries that we had, because every one of these trades comes in with a protective stop. We don't want you to get creamed in anything, you know, that we're putting out here as an idea. So we're providing you these guideposts for protective stops so that you don't really take that big hit that's going to cripple your account. And I've got that column right here that's re-entry time. So, you know, a couple of these guys got stopped out. You know, there's a lot of volatility in the morning, but let's take a look at Sava here. And let's kind of drill into it and see what happened. I'll scroll back in time so we can get an idea of what happened. But, you know, pretty close to the market open, what was it? 25 minutes after the open, we had this signal right here as the stock was coming down, a buy signal here. And what was that price? Entry price of $9.95. It was a pretty tight stop. I think it was too tight of a stop, and I need to look at that. But there was a pretty tight stop, and it got stopped out pretty quickly. Not a big loss. I think it was like 10 or 11 cents or something like that. And then when that, we've got an algorithm, when the stock starts to retrace back towards its original entry price for the original AI idea, it's going to give you a reentry time. It'll give you a reentry price if I had that column on here, but it just gave me the reentry time. So at 7:05, it said, I suggest you getting back into this, or at least looking and considering that. And that would have been this point right here. So maybe you didn't take the stop, maybe you did. If you did, that reentry was available, and you know what an incredible move that it had today. I don't think it was all of that 26% here, but it was a pretty significant move. And across the board, I think today the reentries worked pretty well. But that's one of the things that we do, is we provide you this protective mechanism with stops in here so that you're not just kind of getting into the position and hoping that it does something that you want it to do.
You know, as I'm watching you, by the way, phenomenal job while my audio goes in and out. I wanted to kind of touch base on something that, you know, we both cover in these Q&A presentations, and that is that there's really two types of game plans that exist within trade ideas. Number one, what Brad's showing you is a fully AI created trading scenario that happens every day. You're going to get into stuff, and number one, if that stuff is positive and it's working for you, you can choose to stay in it. Most of these trades are designed by us to be swing trades too. It's not just a get in and get out. But when I see, Brad, that you kind of go over all of the markers that we put in place for people, in other words, you see the entry on the chart, you see the exit, you see the stop, all of this visualization. It reminds me that, you know, let's say some of these people don't like to trade stocks they don't know, right? Mm-hmm. But this information, whether you are trading the AI stocks or not, exists for any stock. So if Brad would pull up something like Snapchat, SNAP, what he would do is he would see the markers on his chart to let you know that, hey, even though you're not in anything, the computer quickly gamifies it for you and says, okay, well, if I was long Snapchat right here, to be able to hold on to it and feel comfortable, I don't want it to necessarily go below 41.40 or something to that effect, with the way that it's traded. So you have these markers for you, and of course, Snapchat has run up so much. If you're a very long-term investor and have been in it for years, your exit does not take place until it really collapses, if it does, and it might never. So my point is, when you're thinking about a decision on where do you get your financial information in terms of idea generation, remember that Trade Ideas is the only vendor that not only gives you a full game plan of what to trade, hypothetically speaking, of course, because we're not investment advisors, but also every stock you analyze will be gamified for you so that you have a computer assistant, or as our good friend Roger Riney at Scottrade used to say, 1,000 pairs of eyes. When you're trading with trade ideas, when you're investing with trade ideas, every stock is assisted for you. There's nothing that you have to do where you're on your own. And of course, Brad, to that end, let's quickly just discuss the simulated trading, because it fits right into that game plan.
All right. Well, I wasn't going to do simulated trading, but we can do that. I was going to actually introduce our connection to TD Ameritrade.
Well, we have time for both. We can go snappy.
Since I have TDA up right here, I'll just kind of show you our plan of what we're doing. So we have our simulated trading, which I'll connect to momentarily. Interactive Brokers is fully functional. I'm testing the TD Ameritrade interface right now. There are a few bugs, but they're getting fixed pretty quickly. So I would think in the next couple of weeks, this puppy is ready for prime time here, and everybody's going to get to, or those of you that have a TDA Thinkorswim account will be able to automate those trades. Well, not necessarily automate, although you can, but send your orders directly from our interface right here. Like, let me show you an example of how that could work right here. So I've got my price alert that just went off here. Let's just say it went off. I can right click on it, and based upon how I've set up my Brokerage Plus, I could go ahead and send off an order very, very quickly. I could also do it right from the chart right here through the right click mechanism. Again, these are all customized to me and set up the way that I'm trading. Or I could use my order entry panel down here to go ahead and place that trade directly with the broker. I mentioned that you can automate something as well. You can take a strategy that you feel very confident in. Maybe you back tested it through our OddsMaker backtesting tool, which is a pretty amazing tool. And you feel really confident in that. Once you've done that, you can drop it right into this interface right here on the strategies tab, give it some instructions, tell it what you want it to do when any one of those alerts are generated. You know, let's say buy $5,000 worth, or buy with $100 risk at limit or limit delta. You set up the instructions for that, set up the stop parameters for that, and it'll automatically run. It'll manage that for you. If you happen to get stopped out, it'll exit the position. You can set a profit target to get you out, or you can set a time, a day, if you're not stopped out at that point, to get you out. So a lot of
Brad,
different ways.
do me a favor. You know, as I'm answering questions with people on the chat, everyone's asking for the high of the day Momo scanner, and of course, you know, we know that Ross Cameron uses that. Would you,
Let me save it right now and I'll drop it.
Yeah, put it in the chat so everybody, you can use this link to just load this exact window that Brad has. But I believe we have it on a channel, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We have the momentum channel.
Correct.
So right there, I dropped in the cloud link, and you guys can just copy that. Once you copy that and you have that web address or that link in your clipboard, and you just go to the cloud, it's going to appear right down here in the bottom. You won't need to do anything but hit that load. And because it was just a single window, it won't erase anything on your desktop. It'll just load that one window right where I had it.
All right, Brad, Jim is asking a good question, and I may be handicapped mentally, as you know.
Yeah, the bid ask.
The bid ask, do we display that?
Let's do it. Let's see what we got here. I'm not sure. Let's take a look. Let's right click. Let's go to configure. It might be a custom. Let's take a look. I'm going to type in bid, and I actually have a custom filter, and I'll show you how to, what you need to do for that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that custom in. I'm going to show the column.
Jim, that's why I gave you the faulty advice, but the truth is we can do it. It's just that Brad's a little bit super advanced, and this is something we're going to add for everybody, but right now it's a custom formula that you can use. And Brad, just give it a little, like, maybe this is a great explanation and a good segue to say, well, what are custom formulas? And
this is a great one.
A little bit of advanced stuff.
It's a simple one, so I think it's really a good example. Let me show you guys what to do here. So let's go to trade ideas. And let's go, make sure you're logged in. I need to log into the correct account. Okay, so that's the account I'm on right now. So now I'm right here and I go to this custom formula area. So I don't want to make this confusing. This is actually really, really simple. I have all my custom formulas almost taken up here. So I've got a ton of them. But if all you really need to do is go to this help PDF right here, I'm just going to open it up in a new tab right here. I'm going to scroll down because I know where it is. It's only like a 6-pager. It's definitely not for programmers. You don't need to be a programmer to do this. But it gives you the data points that you can manipulate. So one, you can manipulate anything, any filter that we have in the software. So if there's a filter there, you can mathematically do some stuff to it. Doesn't mean you can change like a SMA 20 to an SMA 13, but you can multiply it and do all kinds of math to it. So I'm just scrolling down here, and I know that there is a bid and an ask in here somewhere. Just search for it right there. So on page 7 here out of 10, it's letting you know that bid and ask are 2 variables. So let me just show you what you would do
Brad,
when you have that info.
Will you throw that PDF into chat for everybody? Just again, it's a nice thing for people to have from the Q&A, just so that those that are, you know, are a little brainy can kind of dig through what the advanced stuff happens. We usually don't go this far under the hood on the Q&As, but it's good.
So because I know I already have the bid and the ask in this particular account right here, it's right here, U20 and U21. I'm going to move that to the side real quick. Bid and the ask. So what you do is, I'm going to edit it. I mean, it's so simple, it couldn't be any easier. This is my formula, just the variable bid. If it's ask, it's just the variable ask. And this is my description. This is how I search for it in that configuration window. This is letting me know that it's a dollar value that I'm putting in there, and I can tell it what kind of format I want. That's it, man. It's really that simple. Those 2 variables, once you add that, I'm going to save it, added it to U20. Now look what happens as I come over to, let's go to this scanner right here. In fact, I'm going to duplicate it so I don't erase that data there. But let me go ahead and go into one of the strategies. Actually, in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and add a column here. I'm not going to make it so that I have to filter on it, because you could do that if you wanted to filter on it or filter on the spread, which we do have already. Columns. And I'll just search, and I'm going to type in bid. I'll select that. I'm going to show the column. I'm going to go back to search, type in ask. That was the description that we typed in. Show the column, hit OK. So now I've got the bid and the ask as a column. So I've got it in the single stock. I've got it here as a column in this multi-strategy window. And if I so wanted to, and I can't think of a reason why I would, but if I wanted to, I could go into a particular strategy and I could say, I want the bid to be at least this particular price, or and if I didn't have a spread filter, I could use the custom formula to subtract the bid and the ask and get that delta between it and treat that as a spread. It's kind of how you use the math to your advantage here. But again, that's more complicated. You don't need to do any of that stuff out of the box. But as you advance through the software, as you start learning what each of these windows do and how to configure them and set them up, once you create your own layout, and you can create, we have up to 5 different channels that you can create. It could be a single window, a couple windows, or a whole workspace. You know, this is where, I can't remember who was asking me, I think Jim, but someone was asking if you can customize these channels. Yes, you can, and you customize it with the filters that you want, change it any way you want with the data points, and then go ahead and save it to the cloud. Once you've saved it to the cloud, you can go ahead and create one of your custom channels. And you do that just from this gear icon up at the top, or you can edit the channels that we have. If I want to add one, I'll do that, pick my icon, I can upload an icon, put my name in here, and then just drop my cloud link. And if I don't have the cloud link in my clipboard, I can just go select from cloud and find it here in my cloud. Love the custom channel bar. It really is helpful once you get a little bit comfortable and familiar with the software.
What makes you have a fully customizable experience so nice. And again, one of the things that I want to just quickly highlight is Brad's perusing through. There's so many beautiful hidden things that you otherwise might not run into. But Brad, will you do me a favor and click the heart on Snap?
Oh.
Super
Buggy.
advanced version. That's what you
Buggy
get.
like
Brad.
I said, but hold on.
No good deed goes unpunished during Q&A.
Oh, it really did kill me on that one. Hold on. I can get out of it. I can get out of it.
Hey, come on, Brad, you can do it. Yeah, guys, one of the other things when Brad reloads, I want to showcase to everyone who's kind of starting on the software, we made it a little bit easier to find the trading mechanism. When Brad loads it up on the toolbar, Brad, give it a quick, just hover over so that everyone sees. Almost looks like my connection, Brad.
Well, I have a lot of windows, a couple monitors, and I'm sharing my screen. So there's a lot going on right here.
The gulpity gulp.
I'm chugging. Are you talking about this button right up here?
Yeah, right there. Maybe tell people what that does, especially
So
new people.
this button right here really gives you quick access to Brokerage Plus. That's the window I was showing you. By clicking the SIM right here, it'll load it. If I click SIM, it's going to load my Brokerage Plus up, connected to the SIM. So this is the simulator, and it's going to load up all those positions right here. And this really is a great little tool that allows you to experience what trading is like, really what it's like, without really risking your own money. Understanding how the tools work, how to size yourself, how to be able to get in and out of positions. This right here really gives you a kind of like a heads up display of your interface. Not only that, it gives you a graphical display of your portfolio from the beginning of the day, so you can see exactly how you've been doing. You know, in this particular case, it looks like a pretty good steady drip all the way from the beginning to the end. Nothing really happened here, but you do get a lot of insight and flavor as to how your portfolio performed during the day.
And Brad,
yep.
I was just going to say that we constantly talk about the fact that this is the most concrete analogy of this is your driving range. If you're a professional golfer, you spend inordinate amounts of times on the range, working little nuances of your stroke, trying different things. As a pro, you have to do that because you know you're going to be competing against other pros who are always working on their game. Well, where in finance are you able to work on your game in this way, where you can see visually the P&L? And by the way, we're taking this to a completely different level very shortly, where we're integrating a fully kind of embedded tactical journal for your trading. It's going to keep track of your equity, your P&L on a daily basis, various statistics to like the S&P, so that you can really get feedback that exists nowhere else in the market. And some of that looks like this, but I want to say a simple concept, and that is many people who get into the stock market, especially when they get excited, they start too fast and want to get rich quick, start trading real money, not at all practicing. This happens all the time. If you want to stay in the game longer, practice a lot. Brad and I still practice, having each of us done it over 20 years, okay? And we're the only ones that keep the practice going statistically. So you're going to see P&L fluctuations. You get to try different things like learning how to short properly. And in fact, we say that if you're just starting and you want to be active in the stock market, learn how to short first, and you're going to find that it's easier for you to then learn how to play the long side. And this simulated trading is a must, and it will soon be gamified in such a way that Trade Ideas customers will be able to compete with other people for cash prizes in simulated mode. So very exciting, because you'll get to learn how to trade and make money. Dale, Merrill Edge, you know, hear no evil, see no evil. They need to come to us and say, hey, could you integrate? You know, they're silent. But I think the thing is, we're making so much headway. Eventually, everybody will start asking for it. So we're just, you know, we're waiting for them to come. Lots of them come already.
If anybody could use this kind of technology, it's Merrill Edge. I have a Merrill account. It's really horrific. Something like this would really make it so much more robust. In fact, I use an account to mirror my Merrill account, just because the data display here is so much more robust. I mean, look what you're getting. You're getting that P&L display. You're getting not only how your P&L is performing today, but how is it performing overall since you've established those positions, your open, your closed P&L. We give you that profit factor that lets you know the sum total of your winning trades over the sum total of your losing trades. The magic number 17 for the total trades I've got. Winning percentage, you know, telling me that I'm only winning 41%. So that's telling me that I've got some guys are really big winners, whereas most of my positions aren't doing great based on the statistic right here. What's my average winner to loser? And what's my exposure? Not only my overall exposure, just over 35,000, but per position right here. So I can see, am I sized appropriately? Am I overweighted at any one spot? My big overweighting in steel right here provided the biggest loss today. And that really is kind of consistent with that. So we're getting all kinds of information.
I wanted to just say, it's so nice. The gentleman, Peter Revel, was just talking about how he's in the technology business and kind of appreciates what we've done from the server side AI. And we don't often hear it because I think a lot of people don't know really the difference between server side and client side stuff. But we are grateful when people do recognize that what you're seeing here is next level tech, and we are always cleaning the UI. And if you really thought about how much information you're getting, my goodness, Brad, I mean, it's like an anaconda swallowing an elephant. You know, I mean, it's amazing what we've done on the server side. And I really think when people dig and compare, they find that there is no competition in the stock market world for what we do. You know, there's other very good vendors and we don't disparage them, but in terms of what we do on a pure play, nobody is doing it. Nobody. And we're continuing to do it. That's one of the reasons we succeed, is because we've never had the venture capital. We were never pushed for hyper growth. We were creating product while we got feedback, and there were ups and downs. But remember, we've been doing this, guys, for 17 years, 1 year for every single position Brad's open. That's how long it's taken. But Brad, how can you
know, the one thing that's it's interesting, Dan, because yeah, we've been doing this for 17, but we have the benefit of our previous venture that we were in together, where we actually did take venture capital, and it didn't work out the way that it was supposed to work out. And we learned a lot from that endeavor and really utilized that knowledge in trade ideas. And really, we love what we do, and we've been doing this for 17 years, and it's just we don't see any stop in the near future. We're continuing to innovate and add great functionality to the software.
Brad, do me a favor. Will you pull up a stock SUP?
Say that one more time.
Will you pull up the stock SUP?
SUP, yep. Superior Industries.
Right. So a gentleman was asking, like, you know, how would we analyze it? Well, let me show you what the computer says. Okay. On Brad's daily chart, the one that he's on right now, you see that there's a dotted line for the smart stop. So it's saying with its volatility and obviously gigantic volume, etc. Here's your marker, Brad. I didn't know it does that. Here's your smart stop. And if you've been in this already, well, then you can stay until it really breaks down completely. Although, you know, again, that's a point of contention for your own risk tolerance. Everyone's is a little bit different. But obviously, Brad, will you pull it up in the single stock window real quick? I just want to show people a couple of cool things that you can do. So here you have SUP, and you notice how it's trading 2 times what it normally traded today. Obviously, yesterday there was a big gap up, and for the most part, that was held. So that's very positive. But one of the cool things that or actually 2 days ago, but one of the cool things that you can do is, Brad, maybe hit the similar tab and show this really nice 1-2 where we kind of show you, okay, well, if you like that one, well, there's some other ones that you may want to check out that possibly have not run. Horizon Global, there's one. So this is another fantastic way to idea generate. And then Brad, when you do that, just do that real quick, do 2 things. Heart the SUP and then tell people what that means.
You bet. So on the chart right here in the far left icon, we got this heart. It's empty right now. It's not filled in, but when I click it, it fills in. It really adds it to what we call our My Liked list. And if you go down to the Stocks I Like channel, then you're going to find this channel with the stocks that you've liked in it. It'll have an alert window. It'll have top lists, so you're able to monitor those positions. You can also create your own alert window off of those, because it really is just a symbol list that we're creating for you here.
So the other thing that I wanted to answer is that, you know, someone said, okay, well, if I'm a total beginner, where should I start? And I would say, Brad, if you can do me a favor, like switch channels to where, you know, right now you have tons of windows open, and I can see like how, from just the point of view of somebody who maybe is not as sophisticated, they can be a little scared. But go to the morning window. Like we're just going to do a little routine for you guys. It's called a 3-channel routine. So and get rid of all the other stuff so it's not scary. The formula editor, browser, and hide your
hide my dot.
So yeah, move that away. Right. Okay. So how do you start? So you start in the morning, and we start in the pre-market, and right away you're going to have this simple plan that I'm going to give you. Okay. So in the morning, you're going to quickly know what's going up or down by being on the pre-market channel. Okay. Super easy. Pre-market channel right there. And one of the things that it's doing right now, and this is another really cool feature of Trade Ideas, is it's doing what's called idea surfing. So even though you have not done anything, the software knows that you're a stock observer, and what it's doing is it's automatically turning the page for you. It's like, hey, look at Sava. You're looking at it. You're like, hey, look at, you know, Real Networks. Take a look at this. Because otherwise, you know that we are all internally lazy. And if somebody doesn't click on something, you have no idea what to even click on. So now this thing is going to show you things, and you're going to visually be introduced, like for Brad, APVOD. I mean, we'll go back to that one, right? APVO. Yeah. Okay. So notice when Brad clicked on it, what happened? Stopped. So because the thing knows that you're, hey, you're doing something interesting, you're analyzing, you're in a mode of analysis. So idea surfing pauses. So a couple of things going on here. First of all, notice that we show you things where you can, in the stock market, Brad, I don't say this enough, but it is the best wealth generating thing in the world, better than bonds, futures, anything you can expect, because in the stock market, you can have this thing happen, okay? Here's something that's up 63% on 28 million shares traded today. That means you could have been trading this thing at 500,000 share lots, okay? You could position yourself however that is done in 500,000 shares and be in it, you know, not thinking that your 500,000 is going to destroy the market, okay? So these are incredible opportunities, and a great place to just get started is on the pre-market. Now, where do you go next? Well, when the market opens, Brad, you get lots of opportunities, right? You have to figure out where is the next place. One of the ones that where I like to go is Alpha Predator. It's simple. And when people say, well, what should I do in the beginning? You know, we've already thought about this. We ourselves said, well, heck, Brad, where would you want to go after the market's open? And so we created lots of these little channels that you can explore, but quickly you can see that there's a reason for it and what we are doing there. You're going to find names like SMMC, for example, the one in Alpha Predator right here, okay, where things are kind of setting up in ways that you probably otherwise wouldn't have known about or wouldn't look up. And this is all pattern recognition. And what Brad's doing here is he's now saying, hey, that looks good. I'm going to set an alert for myself in case it starts to go. I want to be in it. So you don't have to dig too hard for you to get immense value. You can stay on this page. And of course, Brad, scroll down to these two channels, explosive winners and of course, explosive losers, both there for you, depending on what you want to do. So here's explosive winners, and there will be some overlap. You're going to see some names that are the same. Okay. But certainly here's our pal APVO. Okay. And notice how it's broken up. Biggest gainers today, biggest gainers this week, biggest gainers for the year. So you can kind of get an idea, well, which ones that are doing really good for the year are doing well today, or vice versa. lots of different ways. And of course, as soon as you pull them up, right, whatever it is that you're looking at, you quickly see the details in the single stock window. And Brad, do me a favor, pull up the news tab, because somebody did ask about that. And again, you know, news typically is not the cause. News is the explanation. The stock will run before that. But we have news for you. And if you click on a link, like Brad, do me a favor, just click on that one. It'll open up a separate browsing window for you to be able to read any story. Yeah, Peter, I totally agree that I think we should be enough of a platform for anybody where they would not need another subscription from a Benzinga or anybody else. So once again, you're on explosive winners, but of course, Brad, do explosive losers, just so that people know it goes both ways. I know you're.
What did I name it? Going down?
Yes.
I just changed it, so there it is.
So the market is broken up into winners and losers. You're not stuck in one direction. Whatever it is that's going, if the market is getting annihilated, there's a place there. And if the market is going up, you have a channel. I mean, we made this kind of like the Netflix of the stock market. The idea is that you really can go anywhere. Okay?
So this one right here is a little bit of a kind of an enhancement to that losers and winners channel, because these two windows down at the bottom, the biggest bounce on losers and the biggest pullbacks on winners, it's kind of taking the concept of that winner and loser window, but really adding a change over 30 minutes variable in there, so that now I've got all my big winners that are pulling back strong over 30 minutes, and all my big losers that are bouncing up strong over 30 minutes. And you could change different time frames there, but that's how you can get so sophisticated with the data and really shape and mold the type of idea that you're looking for.
And let me just remind everyone who's watching here, notice that this whole time that we're channel surfing, and we have already created very advanced windows for you. You just need to look at the stream. And remember, as soon as you see something, like for example, right there, KNDI, Brad, if you could pause the idea surfing. You know, as soon as you see something, all you have to do is what you do on social media. Click it, like it, and it follows you forever. And then Brad, switch to the heart channel. So everything that you find on other channels is also following you. That is integrated software that, and you know what I love, Brad, by the way, because Brad's habit when he's doing stuff, I mean, the stuff that he and I work on, he doesn't do as much harding or as much that, because that's just not, he's doing so much other stuff. But here are all the stocks that Brad has liked. So you can see like if there's few or if there's many, and you can see what they're doing. So the idea is whatever that caught your attention, you will never miss it at Trade Ideas. So yeah, you can set those. So Brad, move some of the windows around so people can know that these are windows that can go anywhere. So although we've channeled them together as a channel, you can actually take them, you can resize them, you can customize everything, you can move it in and out, completely flexible design that's malleable by you. We give you the starting point, then you move it into a customized environment that you like. And again, Brad, maybe let's switch to the end of the PowerPoint because we're getting close to the hour. But the key here is the education. Something that Brad and I talk about on every Q&A, and that is that during the week, you have constant coursework and education support that will help you answer all of these questions, regardless of your level, whether you're trying to do what we did earlier with the custom formulas, or you are just simply a beginner at Trade Ideas, and maybe you have some stock experience, but just a beginner who's trying to figure out how to best optimize his time. We've got that already set up for you, and various classes can be had and can be participated so that you're really not alone at all.
And yeah, you can definitely use this on multiple displays. I do that. Most people do that. All right. So Dan, we're back to our
We're back to
presentation. Guys,
this is kind of
while I have the homepage up here, we have a trading room option right here. Just go to our homepage and go to this trading room. It's going to get you in here. This is a room that Barry runs every day. He's in there, I think, half hour before market opens, just about up until the close. He's using our software in real time, giving trading calls and ideas. It's a room of really good traders. So there are people in there sharing ideas, and you can kind of see the interface right here. This is Barry's screen. So I definitely recommend everybody take a look at that.
And Barry's there every day, very consistently, and so is a meritocracy of very high-level users who've been with us for years. So it's a great place to get started, and it's free. We do ebooks. The current one is Trading with Earnings. It is earnings season, I think, right, Brad? Still?
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, and the one before that was Trading the Downside, published perfectly before the market got annihilated with COVID. So we do a lot of that, and of course, the educational component. Every day there's something for you, so you are never, ever, ever, ever alone. School.
Yeah, if we didn't get to a technical question that someone had out here today on how to do something with the configuration, this would be the great spot to do it.
%. All right, everyone. So we are very excited to announce that we've got a new test drive coming up, especially all of you people that have never done it. Trade Ideas for 2 weeks and $8.99. You get full AI enabled, the Rudy and the Tootie, everything in Trade Ideas for just $8.99. These things are very popular, and we don't have them that often. Sometimes it's quarterly, but it depends on what's going on. And this time we're just gonna have so many cool new things going on with the simulated trading and additional ways to help you get better. So we encourage anybody who's on the edge to give this a try at trade-ideas.com/test drive. We are a subscription-based service. If you are worried about how much we cost, you can see here on a per day, although of course we charge monthly and annually. But at the very, very high end premium level without any discounts, our software costs $7.50 a day for consumer facing AI that's helping you in every single stock. In reality, you should be completely comfortable paying this for a year and only paper trading, never even making a single stock trade. That's a small price to pay for an education that will be so valuable. It's really hard to even explain it in words if you actually did it. If you watched yourself, took notes, like a real business. But of course, today, if you want to try it out, we have a coupon for you, fall savings, 15% off your first month or a year off of Trade Ideas. Guys, trading's not for everybody. And if you can't afford $7.50 a day, you really need to consider why you're here. We do a podcast on Fridays. Please search for Trade Ideas in your podcast search engine. Always have interesting content and lots of guests. And while your CEO has been banned from all social media for being a patriot, other members of Trade Ideas are still allowed on social media. At Trade Ideas, QuantBot, and at Today Trader are there available. And we love it if you like us on Facebook. So there's a quick question about what's the difference between standard and premium subscriptions. In premium, you get access to the artificial intelligence. You get to have more charts that can be open, and just the more bells and whistles. That's all.
Well, and you also have access to the odds maker, which is our event-based backtesting tool. It's not a single stock backtesting tool, but you create a strategy and you can see exactly how that strategy would perform if you bought or sold every instance of a signal.
Yeah, that's how we create the AI. So that's why it's a great thing to try out on the test drive. But simulated trading is available both in premium and standard subscription. Okay. All right, everyone. There's going to be a recording for this, right, Brad?
No, I couldn't find it. There's no recording today.
Sorry, guys. One of our team members who usually does all that stuff wasn't around today. So you got this one live. Hopefully, Brad and I did a good enough job for you to think about some of the stuff we did. And we are grateful for the time that you spend with us. And please sign up, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Can you hear me out there? All right, yeah, I mean, if any of you guys have a question, fire them off. I'll stick around for a couple of minutes here and demonstrate something or answer to the best of my ability. What do I think will happen to Amazon tomorrow? I have no idea. I mean, you can take a look at the chart and, you know, uh, it's hard to say. At that double top looking right there. Really, you want to see Amazon? Just mirror this right here. The charts are almost exactly the same with the Qs. So, do the Qs march? I think Amazon will march. I mean, look at that. That gap is exactly the same. Those tops are almost exactly the same. So, uh, you know, as the NASDAQ goes, Amazon goes. The same would be said for, I suppose, Apple, Facebook, Netflix. All of them probably have exactly the same looks. Well, look at that. Almost exactly the same. What's Netflix's symbol? I don't even remember. Let's do Facebook. I mean, almost all those charts look almost exactly the same. So, I, you know, I don't see any reason that Amazon doesn't begin to continue that march. It was a really solid gap from everything today. Looking back at the Qs here, um, your guess is as good as mine. I don't trade these expensive stocks. Um, you don't have anything to stop you from getting right back up to that 300 range, essentially. This right there, you got that. We can mark up the chart here, draw a horizontal line right there. I mean, that's it, you know. The 20 SMA here came down, just tagged it, passed it, bounced right back up today. Would Biden be better for technologies? Uh, I don't know necessarily the technologies, but I think you saw, as it looks clear that he's going to be the winner. I mean, the last few weeks I was watching a lot of construction stocks, steel, concrete, all that were really coming out of some great bases. I think people were betting Trump to win, and today when it looked like he was going to lose, those all crashed. And you watched, your Facebooks, and there you have it, your Amazons, everything, Twitter, all that was looking pretty hot today because I don't think, Biden and the Democrats are going to touch those platforms. So, the other thing I'd look at today is look at China. I mean, everything in China was amazing. Here, on this side here, I have a sectors list of ETFs, and I mean, that's China. That was biotech, but where else? Software services here, but I mean, this is China right here, and look at what China did today. So, I mean, you tell me. We can bring our single stock window over here, and I mean, 7.5% today. I mean, come on. So I think, that's where the market's placing its bet. One other area I'd say, definitely of real interest here, cloud computing. I mean, look at this chart. I mean, just a march, all the way up, well off that 200. You had this sell-off coming in with the uncertainty, and then look at this gap up today and a gap and hold. Gold. I'll be honest, gold has caught me by surprise. I would have thought gold would be doing more than it has been, especially the fact they just have a printer running nonstop at this point at the Fed. But it hasn't. My real shock was silver. I really thought silver would be doing something special here, but I mean, you could paint the wedge here, I suppose, and see where we're going to end up with it. You got a horizontal line right here. We can draw a trend line here. So it's, gold is painting itself into a corner, and now you have that 50-day right above it, really putting pressure on it, kind of starting to guide it down, and even, another down day, and you'll have the 20 over it too. So, it held. It held today. You want to see it, if nothing else, consolidate to break this down trend line and get back above that 50. But it isn't looking as healthy as you would think it would. It looks like actually more of the flight is to Bitcoin, which I don't do anything with cryptocurrency, so I have no opinion there whatsoever other than they're very entertaining. Are there any other questions or anything else you guys would like me to demonstrate before I shut down for the evening? Passes 1914, there'll be a breakout. I mean, look, whenever anybody says a lot of people said there was going to be crazy volatility in the markets yesterday and today. I am kicking myself in hindsight that I didn't go in on a lot of things I was looking at on Monday and just let them ride because I'd have been, I'd have been sitting very comfortable today, myself and countless other people thought there was going to be all kinds of volatility these last few days. And even now, you got Trump tweeting all kinds of stuff saying that, he doesn't accept whatever. And I mean, there's no sell off after market here. I mean, here's the SPY, and let's bring up the post market. Post market. There's your post market on the SPY. Big fat nothing burger. These tails are nothing. Um, just never mind those things. So, I mean, look, even after hours, not a word from, not a word from the market about anything. So I suspect that, market continues to march. What gold does, I don't know, but I listen to the charts, not people. That's all. If I was you know, not so gun shy the last few days and paying more attention to the charts, going Friday into Monday, I mean, everything looked very, very bullish, and unfortunately, I let the election influence kind of what I was thinking, what I was doing. But I mean, you know, here's Friday, or excuse me, here's it's Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Here's Friday. We came down, tagged the opening year range right there. You know, and bounced back, and we closed here, and we bounced Monday, we bounced Tuesday, we bounced Wednesday. These are supposed to be crazy volatile days. I mean, look, the volume's pretty big, but you know, certainly no sell off. So, all the experts, that's what they were calling for. So, this is what I listened to. Like I said, election being a big event, I let that have some influence on what I was doing. But, I mean, the path of least resistance looks up to me. You got this here and this here to get by, and you know, looking at 360 here on the spies. I think unless Biden comes out, and says we're shutting down the country or anything like that, and even for him to do anything, got to wait till what is it, January 20th, for him to have any real control. So you still got another several months of Trump in charge, regardless. So we'll see. If Trump starts doing something crazy or anything like that, but that's not how I'm going to bet. I'm going to bet with the charts. The charts tell me bullish, and that's the way I'm going. That and Jerome Powell printing money like he's a madman. Technology, just everything technology here. SMH, SOX. Look at that. SMH about to take out all-time highs again here. I mean, there's nothing to stop it. That's it right there. You're just a couple of points from it. So, I'll drop in a link again here for anybody that's interested. We're doing our test drive. Starts official live data on the 9th, but you can get into the platform after market close on the 6th. It gives you full access to everything we do here at Trade Ideas. It's $9. Covers the exchange fees for us. And, there's no auto enrollment to anything. That's the link for it there that I just dropped in there. No tricks or anything like that. What you see is what you get. You like it, sign up a subscription afterwards. You don't like it, let it pass, and we'll do another test drive sometime in the future. Again, kind of do them once a quarter. So, but it's a great technology. It's a great tool. And for $9, you get a shot at seeing everything that we do, and that includes bring over real quick the AI, who unfortunately had some beatings today. However, you can get a big guide here. There's your profit targets, all those kinds of things. So, a lot of tools to be had. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna shut this down for the night, and you can use that link there. If you want to just check out further anything else, here I'll drop a link for our homepage. You can crawl around on the homepage, find our Traderz room, some stuff like that. Get yourself acquainted, familiar with what we do. This is our homepage right there. And I'll drop the Traderz room in here too. It's open every day at 9 o'clock in the morning with Barry. It's all this is, free stuff for the Traderz room here. No cost on that. You don't need to be a subscriber or anything like that. Barry opens the room at 9 o'clock in the morning. He gets live on the mic at 9:05, and usually shuts the room down at 3 p.m. Those are all Eastern times for you too. So all right, guys, I'm gonna step away from the desk. And am I a Biden supporter? No, I'm not a anybody supporter. I'm a I'm a stock market supporter. I have no real political affiliation. I feel my life, regardless of who is the president of the United States, will be basically exactly the same, minor adjustments. So, you know, it really is irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. It's a non-event in my life. So, all right, guys. I am trying to. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. So, no values. I'm not sure what you mean by no values. But I'm not here to be political with anybody. I'm here to talk stock market. So, whatever my values are is really irrelevant to what I'm trying to do here, which is my job. I don't want to see anybody hurt. Don't want to see anything bad happen to anybody. Um, as my father always said, regardless of who wins, I hope that they're the best president we ever had because I live in this country and I love this country. So, look, if Biden is the winner, he gets my support. And that's all there is to it because that's of course if he's the winner. So, why would I wish anything bad on someone who's leading the country? It doesn't make any sense. I'm here. I love this country. Got children. Hope they grew up in a fair and safe country. And nothing's perfect, but hopefully every day we get a little better. Every day we improve. That's all you can ask for, right? So no voting. I vote, but I don't think that's relevant to this YouTube feed here. It's not a political channel again. This is it's a finance channel here. Not my it's not my place to share that. I am not a political commentary. That's what the news is for. I let them do their job. They let me do my job. So, but so yeah, thank you guys very much. Yes, I agree. We should absolutely vote. A lot of countries you don't get to vote. I've lived in some other countries where things are not quite the same as here. So I have firsthand experience in what democracy looks like and doesn't look like. So I won't get into that. All that's just my personal life's experience and that kind of thing like that. With all that said, thank you guys for watching. I am going to try to start to make my own channel for streaming very early in the morning. It probably will not be on this specific channel here. See how I can promote that moving forward. And, this way you guys kind of get a little bit more support, questions and answers asked and answered, pre-market, during market, and post-market with all that we have to offer here with Trade Ideas. So, all right, I really appreciate you guys coming and watching, and I thank you very kindly, and you all stay safe and have a wonderful rest of the evening with your family and loved ones. Take care.